Hello, welcome back to Voice Point with Seema. Come sit with me. I have something I want to tell you. I don't know exactly how to start this conversation because it is something I've been thinking about for a while, but I've never really known how to put it into words. You know, that feeling when you're younger and you imagine your future? You don't really think about it as a plan, it is more like a picture in your head. You imagine where you will be, what you will be doing, and what kind of person you will become. And somehow, when you're young, the future feels so far away that you don't question it. You just assume things will happen. You assume you will grow up, figure everything out, become confident, become successful, and have a good job, and have good people around you. And then one day you look around and realize, wait, this isn't exactly what I imagined. And I don't mean that my life is bad right now. It is different. And maybe that's one of the strangest things about growing up. You spend so much time imagining the person you are going to become, and then life happens and you become someone you never really expected. And honestly, I'm still figuring out who that person is. I thought people reached a certain age and suddenly everything became clear. Like there was some secret moment when someone turned 25 or 30 and thought, okay, I understand life now. And now I'm older and I'm starting to realize no, nobody really knows. Some people are just better at looking like they know. And honestly, I find that comforting because for a long time I thought I was the only one who didn't have everything figured out. Everyone else seemed to know where they were going. Someone gets a new job, someone's move to different places, or someone graduates, someone starts a business, and then you look at your own life and think, okay, what I'm doing. And I think social media makes this feeling even worse because you don't see someone's entire life. You see the graduation picture, the new job, the airport picture, the achievement. You don't see the years before that. You don't see the rejection. You don't see the things that didn't work. You just see the result, the 5 minutes. And then you compare their result to your unfinished chapter. And that's not really fair, is it? I've done that too. I've looked at other people and thought maybe I'm behind. And the funny thing is, behind what? I didn't ask this question. Behind what? Who made this schedule? Who decided that by a certain age I should have achieved certain things? Where did I get this idea that life is supposed to happen in a specific order, like school, university, job, money, uh, house, success, and then continue? What? Are we done? Nobody knows. Sometimes I think we treat life like a checklist, like we're supposed to collect achievements and then finally feel like we have made it. But what if there isn't a correct order? What if one person's 20s looks completely different from another person's? What if someone finds their passion at 18 and someone else finds it at 35? What if someone doesn't know what they want until they try five different things? And people think it is failure. Maybe that is not failure, it is just maybe that's just life. I think one of the biggest surprises of growing up is realizing that your plans can change. Sometimes you change your mind, sometimes life changes your plan for you. Something doesn't work out, someone leaves, an opportunity disappears, and you don't get the things you wanted. And at first, you might think this wasn't supposed to happen, but maybe it was. Maybe the path you thought you were supposed to take wasn't actually your path. I don't know, I'm still trying to understand that myself, but I think I'm slowly becoming more comfortable with not knowing. I used to want answers. I wanted to know what was going to happen, whether I was making the right decision, and whether the things I was working for would actually happen. But life doesn't really give you that information. You just have to move, you make a decision, you try something, you fail, you learn, and you try again and again. You change direction, and sometimes you look back and realize that the things you were so worried about wasn't even that important. There are also things I thought I would care about forever that I don't care about anymore. And there are things I never thought would matter to me that matter so much now. Your priorities change quietly. The things that used to impress you don't impress you anymore. You start caring more about peace. You start caring about the people you can actually be yourself around. You realize that having 10 people around you isn't necessarily better than having two people you trust the most. You realize that being busy doesn't necessarily mean you're doing something meaningful. And maybe you start realizing that you don't have to explain yourself all the time. I think younger me would be surprised by the person I am now, or at least people who know me. Not because I achieve everything I dreamed of. Maybe it is because I achieve things I've never imagined. I've changed my opinions, my mind. I've changed my goals. I've changed the way I look at people. I've changed the way I look at myself. And honestly, I hope that continues. I want to be able to look back at myself 5 years from now and think, wow, I really changed. Not because the person I am today is perfect, but because life taught me something new. And maybe that's what I want to tell you today. If you're listening to this and feel like you're behind, maybe you're not. Maybe you're just living a life that doesn't look like the one you imagined when you were younger. And maybe that is okay. You didn't know yourself completely back then. You didn't know the world. You didn't know what opportunities would come. You didn't know which people you would meet in your life or what you would discover about yourself. So of course the plan changed, you changed, and I think there's something beautiful about that. Because imagine if everything happened exactly the way we planned it when we were 15, would we even like that life? Maybe some of us would, but I think a lot of us would look around and realize this isn't actually what I want anymore. And that is okay too. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to start again. You're allowed to take a different path. You're allowed to be confused. You're allowed to not have an answer. You're allowed to be 22 and not know. You're allowed to be 30 and not know. And you're allowed to be 40 and you'll realize you want something completely different. There isn't an expiration date on figuring yourself out. And I know this sounds like something people say all the time. Don't compare yourself to others. We have all heard it, but knowing something and actually feeling it are two different things. Sometimes I still compare myself. Sometimes I still wonder if I should be further ahead. Sometimes I look at someone else's life and think, why don't I have that? But I'm trying to catch myself when I do it. And instead of asking, why am I not where they are? I'm trying to ask, do I even want what they have? That is a very different question because sometimes we don't actually want someone's life. We just want the feeling we imagine their life gives them: security, freedom, recognition, love, success. And maybe that's what we are really looking for. And maybe there are other ways to find it. So, what did I think my life would look like by now? Honestly, I thought I would have more answers. I thought I would feel more certain, but maybe confidence isn't knowing exactly what's going to happen. Maybe confidence is being able to say, I don't know what's going to happen, but I will figure it out. And I think I'm starting to like that version of confidence more. I don't know exactly where my life is going, and maybe for once I don't need to. Maybe I can just keep going. I keep learning, keep making mistakes, keep changing my mind, keep trying, and let the future surprise me a little. Because maybe the life I end up with won't look anything like the life I imagined. Maybe it will be better, maybe it will be harder, maybe it will be completely different, but I'm sure I know this, it will be mine. And I think that is enough. So, if you're listening to this somewhere right now, walking, driving, sitting in your room, whatever you're doing, I hope you don't feel like you have to have everything figured out. You don't, I don't, and I don't think anyone really does. Some people are just better at pretending, I think. Anyways, that's what I've been thinking about lately. Maybe I needed to say it out loud. Maybe you needed to hear it. Actually, I didn't want this podcast to sound like a motivational speech, but I guess it's kind of, yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed listening to this. I will see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day. Bye bye.